I am Keith Ridenhour, and I'm a teacher. Welcome to my website. Uh, I People that get online, I think they want things quick. I think they want things fast. I think they want to learn, and they want to get. They don't want to be frustrated. They want to see progress. And the secret is a teacher. It's such a. To me, it seems obvious, but it's such a crucial thing in anything you're trying to learn. Right now, in the environment you have, there's 100 websites and 3 steps to being a professional, and 5 steps, and you can jump over the moon, and 21 steps, and my course, and I'll make you a pro, and all that. And here I have, 5 different method books on flute. So where do you start? Which exercise do you use? Why are you doing the exercise? When do you know you're done? What's the level of performance you want to do it at before you move forward? That's what a teacher does. A teacher does 2 things. One is they come in and they assess where are you in your development and what is your next step. That's crucial. There's 100 things you could be doing, but what is your next step based on who you are as a person, your experience, and what you want to do with your musical instrument? I have different kinds of students. Some students want to just play band music. So that's a series of steps for learning the instrument and then being able to read music and perform that with a band. Then I have some students that want to turn on a CD and play with the CD. And that's a different set of steps. And as a teacher, you explain something to a student, and sometimes they don't get it, and they won't say they don't get it. So that's the second thing a teacher does. You give them a standard for them to know this is what you want to achieve, and then you move on. And that's key, because if you have no end game, when do you stop playing an exercise? When do you know that you've gotten out of the exercise what you were supposed to? Anyway, I've jumped a little bit ahead here because I wanted to jump into that. And I'm a teacher. I've got a music education degree, which I got playing saxophone at University of Missouri St. Louis. But before that, I was at trumpet major through high school and junior high and all that. And I played trumpet for 2 years at Berklee College of Music back in 1976 and 77. So I did that, and then I switched to sax because I decided that trumpet playing, I was never going to be good enough to be able to play consistently and make money, but on sax I thought I could. So I went from what end of the sax do I blow into to a professional in the span of about 3.5 years. So I made really, really good progress because I had good teachers and I was very focused, and I was able to get done what I had to get done to play professionally. And that brings up another point. Back when I graduated, you had to be a really, really good reader. The job was you sit down, they have a book, you read the book, you play the book, and then you perform. Nowadays, that's not the way it is. Nowadays, you show up to the band, they like you, they've heard you play, and they say, here's our songs, record them or get them off of YouTube and come back at rehearsal next week and play your parts and play your solos. So it's become very, very much more of an ear thing, perform, versus reading music. All, at least in my case, it is. In the area I'm at, it's primarily pop music, some indie music, a little bit of blues, quite a bit of blues actually. I'm in the North Bay in San Francisco area, so there's a wide variety, but straight ahead jazz out of a fake book, almost never. So, and it's different for different situations. So as a teacher, I'm there to assess what you're doing, help you out, and I hold your hand. I mean, it is frustrating. There's times you go, darn it, I can't do this. And as a teacher, it's my job to be the rainbow and say, hey, you can do this. You will get through this. I'll help you. And here's the end result. So that's again, part of being a teacher, which you miss if you don't have the teacher. Now, the last thing I really want to drive home is all these sites you see with, here's my 15 ways to greatness, or here's the 30 things you can practice and you can impress your friends, or you too can play the harmonica in 2 days. the people that have done these sites, they had teachers. All as wonderfully as they play and they present whatever they have on the, and these, it isn't bad information. It's information. It's like an encyclopedia. The information's out there, but they had teachers. They had teachers that told them and instructed them and moved them through their career and allowed them to present this information out there. So essentially, they're trying to teach you in the way they weren't taught. And I don't think it's nearly as effective to have the cookie cutter, uh, the too many choices kind of playing versus having a teacher. So the teacher opens a systematic set of what you ought to do, a standard of what's good enough to move on, and you get the paradigm of the teacher's way of thinking. So you get a 1 hour window into the mindset of a professional, very high level playing person, and that's really important. That's extremely important. I've gotten almost more sometimes out of talking to really good players or teachers than I had the actual lesson. They may say something casually, well, I always do this, and that's more important than whatever they're demonstrating to me. And that's another thing. I've seen some performers that play extremely well, and I think that's great. But as a teacher, I'm not here to play for you and then, here, listen to this, Joe. Listen to this. Oh, I can't. Hey, you want to hear me? Want me to hear you play this? That's not the job. The job isn't for you to be amazed at what I'm doing. The job is, what can I get you to do? How can I make you a better player? How can I get you more involved in the music? How are there ways you can listen that you don't listen now that can benefit you as far as performing? Are there finger exercises you could do in addition to playing the instrument? Are there breathing exercises? There's a wide variety of things in addition to just practicing the instrument that are important. So I'm a teacher, and that's primarily what the site's about. My passion is teaching. I've been retired 12 years. Currently, I play at 2 and sometimes 3 convalescent facilities a week. I'm still in the Jamie Jameson band, and we've been playing wineries and events and gigs for 20 years, so we're still active. I have a jazz quartet called Ambiance that plays once a month, and I play in my own group sometimes, Sonoma Soul, and I get one-off gigs, just me and some guys playing jazz-type tunes. But I'm extremely active musically, and I myself, I'm taking lessons. And why? Because one of the people that I respect the most in the music world, Michael Brecker, gave interviews, and he said, even though he had reached the epitome, the best player you could imagine on his instrument, he still had somebody outside that he would play things for and get their feedback. And that is so key. I was playing a gig years ago at a place here in town called Cucina Vianza. And I played 3 songs in a row, and every song ended up the same way. My solo ended up the same way. Yeah, some high screaming altissimo note, and the crowd goes wild, and I stop, and then we go on to the next song. And a good buddy of mine that played guitar came up on the break and said, "Hey, Keith, do you realize that every song you play, you're ending with that screaming altissimo note?" And I said, "No, I didn't realize that." And from an outside point, it was. I'm really happy that guy told me, and that's the value of getting outside opinions. I heard a really good sax player playing a gig a few years ago, and on the break, I ran up and I said, "Hey, I don't know if you can hear yourself through the monitor, but you're about half step flat." And he had no idea because he couldn't hear himself. So he was very grateful that the outside voice came in. And that's where the teacher comes in. Do you know you're playing in tune? And that's a skill you develop. Do you know you're playing in time? Do you know when you're in the correct place in the piece? Do you know when you're playing too loud? Do you know when your tone is harsh or brittle, or do you know what do you do when the weather changes and all the reeds that worked yesterday don't work today? These are things that I don't see addressed anywhere else except in private instruction. So I would really wish that for you. Teaching and taking lessons has been a huge part of my retirement. The happiest people I know are taking lessons. And music is amazing in that even I'm 67, I'll be 68 in a few months. I am playing better now on flute and sax than I have my entire life, and that includes college. And that's because I have the systematic practice and I have the passion and I have help. I have teachers. I've got a studio guy up in Montreal that I use for sax. And for flute, I've got a gal that has a master's degree and plays amazing. And they're both excellent teachers. And I've learned not just how to play, but teaching from them, in addition to the teachers I've had over the years. So that's my site. I hope to be as helpful as I possibly can. That's my passion the rest of my life, is to try and get as many people to have the same joy and love of music that I have, and to be able to express that. To me, the most gratifying thing that's happened in retirement is when I find a senior like myself who is walking the hammer aisle at Walmart on every day because he doesn't know what to do with himself, or just sits around watching TV, or wonders why the kids don't call anymore and what are they going to do with themselves. And then they find that playing a flute or a saxophone or keyboards is fun. And it's something that even at 67, they can do. I people tell me, well, I'm not fast like I used to be, and I'm not something. And I tell them it doesn't matter. If you can do this, you can play fast. If you have the desire, you can watch yourself go up that curve, go up that slope of getting better and better and better and better. And even though at my age I can't run anymore, I can't play tennis, I can't play racquetball, there's a whole list of things that I can't do. But what I can do is I can play my instrument better than I ever have. And that's extremely gratifying at my age. And I've seen that happen with other seniors. I've seen people pick up instruments and go, or go back to high school instruments that they used to play, and they go from not having touched the horn in 20 years to, my God, I love this. I'm going to do this every day for a half an hour. I have one student that went from nothing to 2 hours a day. And I didn't tell him to practice that much. I gave him enough stuff to work on for about 30 minutes a day. But he liked it so much, music became a 2-hour part of his daily routine. It's just something he loved to do. It made him happy. It's physical. It's social with other musicians. It's solving mental problems because your mind is creating all kinds of things to get your fingers to move and get your wind to go. And it's an emotional release and outlet, because what you play moves yourself and hopefully moves an audience the same way. So these are all reasons why I'm heavily involved in music. I love it. I've been retired 12 years and I'm happy, and I look forward to helping you any way I can and help you in the role of mentor or coach or teacher. And lastly, I have a very sliding scale. I don't want money to ever be the reason that you don't study and that you don't take an instrument up. So if money is an issue, we'll talk about that. As far as teaching goes, to get involved in a student flute is easy. That's like $300. That's easy. And you can get a decent quality refurbished Yamaha for that price. And then sax, you can get an alto sax probably for $400 or $500 as a start if you want to get a student instrument and go that route. So it's not all that expensive. And for God's sake, don't don't go to your local instrument store and pay whatever they want for don't pay $1,500 for a student instrument when I can help you find a better student instrument for $300 or $400. I mean, that's the value of a teacher also. Anyway, I'm Keith Ridenhour. I look forward to talking to you and interacting with you. And I hope my retirement vlog is helpful. It's a window into my mind during doing the things I do in my life. Like, I had a recording session not too long ago, and how did I prepare for it? What was I thinking about? Was I nervous? What did I do the day before? how did I judge myself after the recording session? These are all things that were part of a vlog that I've done recently. All right, so welcome to my third life. I hope to be helpful to you, and it's not about how well I play. That really doesn't mean anything. What's important is how well can I get you to play. This is all about you, the student. It's not about me. All right, take care. Bye now.